Dawn never came. Aurelia 9 didn't have a normal sunrise, only a shift from deep blue to bruised gray. Fog curled over the ground like steam escaping a wound. The hunt ship floated above the canopy, casting a shadow that swallowed the forest floor. Elias, Mara, and Jax crouched behind a ridge of roots, studying the behemoth vessel. The mothership resembled a cathedral built from bone and armor plating. Ribs of extinct species formed its hull. Skulls of conquered civilizations lined its prow. Every part of it screamed victory. Elias whispered, "Their arrogance is a weakness. They display what they've killed, not what they fear." Jax nodded. "Then we teach them fear." Mara traced a path on her holopad. "Docking spires here, here, and here. Guards rotate every 20 minutes. If we hijack one of their scout platforms, we can get inside." The plan was madness. But madness was survival. Elias tightened the grip around the spear he had taken from the fallen hunter. No weapon felt more honest than one ripped from the enemy's hands. "Humans don't win by being stronger," he said. "We win by refusing to stay in the box someone puts us in." They moved. Infiltration. The scout platform hovered low to the ground, scanning for movement. Its undercarriage bristled with motion sensors and triangular metal prongs dripping with tranquilizing toxin. When it turned its back, Elias sprinted. He leapt. His boots slammed onto the platform's surface. The machine shrieked a warning, limbs twitching. Jax scrambled up and jammed a metal shard into its wiring. Sparks erupted. The drone convulsed, then sputtered into silence. They climbed onto the platform, balancing between jagged armor plates. Mara typed furiously. "I can override the course." Maybe, Jax hissed. Mara didn't look up. "Give me a peaceful office desk and good coffee, and I'll be perfect." "Right now, I'm improvising with alien tech and adrenaline." "Valid," Elias said. "Take us up." The platform lurched into the air. The forest fell away beneath them. Patches of glowing moss, rivers like dark scars, twisted trees reaching for their flight path. Higher. Higher. The mothership's hull towered above them now, massive and monstrous. The air smelled of ozone and burnt metal. Tribal banners fluttered from protruding bones. As they neared the docking port, 2 Vrax guards appeared, tall, armored, hunting horns carved into their helmets. Mara whispered. "They'll scan us." Elias stepped forward. "Spear ready. No scanning." He jumped off the platform as it docked, landing silently behind the guards. Before they could turn, he drove the spear through the first one's rib cage. Jax grabbed the second guard, dragging him backward into the shadows while Mara jammed a shard into the alien's throat. They lowered the bodies. Mara exhaled. "We just boarded a Vrax mothership." Jax wiped blood off his wrist blade. "Feels like breaking into a museum built by serial killers." Elias pointed to the entry corridor. "Stay sharp. We don't know how much time we have." Inside the hunter's temple, the corridors weren't metal. They were bone reinforced by steel. Skulls lined the walls, illuminated by pulses of red light. Each display held data of the creature killed. Homeworld, population. Last recorded resistance, a hologram flickered alive. Vrax Hunt Codex, Principles of Dominance Rule. 1. Prey runs. Rule 2. Hunters do not. "Makes sense why they underestimate us," Jax murmured. "They only understand fear in others," Elias replied. "Not in themselves, they—" Reached a chamber pulsing with energy. The central pillar held the tracking system. Dozens of foreign signals flickered on the display, each representing a tagged species in different hunting grounds across the galaxy. Then Elias saw it. Earth, a countdown, hunt. Initiation. 21 days. Mara's voice cracked. "They're planning to hunt Earth." Jax took a step backward. "Billions of people." Elias set his jaw. "Then we stopped the countdown." He ripped the panel open, exposing cables. Sparks burst. Alarms triggered. Red lights flooded the chamber. They knew. From overhead, the High Huntsman's voice boomed. "You kill one hunter and think you are equal." Elias looked up, calm. "That's not why we're here." A rumble shook the chamber as blast doors sealed behind them. "You are here," the huntsman said, "because I want to watch you try to survive without running." The arena. The floor dropped. Elias, Mara, and Jax plummeted into an open coliseum, a circle of polished stone and sharpened pillars. Alien spectators lined the stands, chanting in guttural hisses. Jax groaned. "Of course they have an arena. Why wouldn't they?" The High Huntsman descended from the platform above. His armor glistened like obsidian. His weapon, a spear carved from the bone of an elder predator. "You had the chance to flee," he said. "You chose pursuit." "We didn't come to flee," Elias answered. "We came to end this." Karzul raised his spear. "Then show us your defiance, human," he charged. The impact threw Elias to the ground. The alien moved with terrifying speed, spear thrusts precise and surgical. Elias rolled aside as the blade sliced into stone. Mara sprinted to flank, distracting the huntsman, while Jax tried to get behind him. A backhanded strike sent Jax flying across the arena. Elias blocked another thrust, using the stolen spear. The force numbed his arm. "You fight well," Karzul mocked. "But all prey dies." Elias steadied his breathing. "We're not prey." He lunged, not at the huntsman, but at the arena's support pillar. He slammed the spear into the base where organic sinew connected to metal. The bone cracked. A ripple rolled through the arena. Spectators paused. Mara understood instantly. "Bring the structure down." She grabbed a discarded spear and hurled it like a javelin into another pillar. Jax climbed the last one and jammed his shard directly into its ligament joint. 3 pillars fractured. The entire platform shuddered. The huntsman's eyes widened. "What are you doing?" "Rewriting the rules," Elias said. The platform collapsed. The huntsman stumbled. Elias sprinted toward him and drove both feet into the alien's chest, knocking him backward. The alien landed hard, spear skittering away. For the first time, fear touched his expression. Elias stood over him, breathing hard. Blood in his mouth. "You display trophies of those you've killed," Elias said. "Humans don't collect bones," Karzul hissed. "What do you collect?" "Victories." Elias seized the alien's own spear and jammed it through the huntsman's chest plate. The armor cracked. The spear pierced flesh. The huntsman choked on disbelief. "You are not prey." "No," Elias said softly. "We're the lesson," Karzul collapsed. Silence fell across the stands. Elias stepped toward the nearest hollow relay and activated the broadcast. The camera flickered alive, displaying his blood-stained face across every Vrax ship and transmission node. "This message is for every species watching. Humanity is not prey. If you hunt us..." He glanced down at the dead huntsman. "Expect us to hunt back." He ended the broadcast. Alarms blared as the ship's systems overloaded. "Extraction windows closing," Mara shouted. Jax sprinted to reroute the scout platform. "Let's go." They launched off the collapsing arena ruins as the mothership caught fire. Internal explosions, chaining through its fortress-like hull. The last thing Elias saw before the platform carried them away was the Vrax trophy gallery collapsing into dust and flame. Epilogue. Earth orbit. 3 weeks later, a holographic transmission pulsed over Earth's defense network. Threat classification. Update. Species, human status, apex, do not pursue alias. Watch the notification fade as stars glittered beyond the viewport. Mara smirked. "We went from prey to restricted target. That's progress." Jax leaned back. "What now?" Elias adjusted his suit and stared out into the dark. "We prepare." "For what?" Jax asked. Elias smiled. Small, fierce, unbreakable. For the next hunt. Commander Elias Grant had seen graveyards before, human ones. Neatly carved stones, flowers visitors could touch. Quiet places that suggested peace. This was not a graveyard. This was display. Elias tightened the straps of his exosuit and stepped deeper into the colossal alien chamber. The echo of his boots disappeared into the silence of an impossible hall. Vaulted ceilings, seamless metallic walls, curves carved by some advanced plasma tooling. Blue light hummed along the floor like veins pulsing beneath skin. Lieutenant Mara Vance whispered through the comms. "This place feels Wrong. It's not a research facility, Elias said. Bodies wouldn't be stored like this. They had come to find the missing xenobiology team, who vanished 3 days ago after transmitting fragmented distress signals. The beacon had led them to Aurelia 9, lush forests, strange atmospheric storms, unexplored terrain. Nothing had prepared them for the monolithic structure piercing through the rainforest canopy. Elias approached the first display, a skeletal creature, tall, with elongated limbs, hung suspended by invisible gravity fields. It wasn't simply stored. It was arranged. Every bone polished, every joint aligned as if for artistic judgment. A tiny hollow plaque floated at its base. Specimen 8883. Solarian, last of its kind Mara, drew a sharp breath. They exterminated them, she murmured. Elias swallowed the rising. Cold creeping up his spine, another display. Shimmered to life nearby, an avian-looking alien with curved bone wings, frozen mid-scream. Specimen 792. Rindle, hunt complete. The word hunt stabbed the air with meaning. Dr. Imani Rhodes, the team's linguist, knelt at the base of the display. These aren't archived remains. This is an exhibit, a gallery. Of what? The comms tech, Jax Layton asked. Elias didn't answer. He already knew. Of victory, of extinction. A pulse of motion flickered on Elias's HUD. He lifted his rifle, scanning the far side of the hall. Heat signatures, multiple, high above them, moving like shadows through the rafters. Mara raised her weapon too. We're being watched. Unknown hostiles? Jax whispered. Imani stood slowly, brushing dust from her gloves. Not hostiles, Elias exhaled. Hunters. They moved forward, deeper into the chamber. Alcoves opened along the pathway, each one holding a skeletal form suspended in perfection. They ranged in size, some delicate and bird-like. Others massive and brutal-looking with fangs the length of a human arm. Each had the same tagline, Hunt Complete. A chill ran through Elias. How many species are displayed? He asked. Imani linked her wrist console to a nearby data pillar. Alien glyphs cascaded and rearranged in real time. After several seconds, a rough translation appeared on their HUDs. 17 species conquered. Jax's voice cracked. That's impossible. That would mean we're dealing with systemic planetary extermination, Imani said quietly. Not warfare. Sport. Elias felt something primal coil inside him, a cold fury that settled deep in his gut. Where are the scientists? Imani opened another panel. Data scrolled. Names, biological profiles, heat signatures. Her eyes widened. They're alive, or at least their vitals show activity. Lower levels, 40 meters below us. Then let's move. The team descended the ramp. The air grew colder, as if the structure itself resented their presence. Humidity shifted to a sterile chill. The walls became darker, obsidian mixed with metal that swallowed sound. They reached a massive circular door. Alien lettering glowed, violent and red. Mara stepped forward. There's something printed below, Imani translated. New species identified, human. Status, eligible game. Elias drew back, eligible game. A low vibration trembled through the floor. The circular door slowly irised open, not with the hydraulic hiss of human engineering, but with a predatory smoothness, like a creature opening its eye. Inside, a single hologram flickered to life, Earth rotating in midair. The continents glowed with marked locations: New York, Shanghai, Karachi, São Paulo. Then the projection zoomed in. A 3D rendering of a human skull appeared. A digital tag labeled it Next Trophy. Mara swore. They've mapped Earth and cataloged our biosigns, Jax added. They know who we are. Elias forced himself not to stare at the holographic skull, set among a gallery of extinct civilizations. Imani, Elias ordered. Locate the missing team. She pulled the scanner back up. They're below, down that shaft. The floor beneath the hologram rippled open, revealing a dark chute descending into blackness. Jack swallowed. "Ladies first." Elias grabbed a glow stick, cracked it, and tossed it down. It fell for too long before the light disappeared entirely. "We rappel," Elias said. He anchored ropes and descended first, boots grazing smooth walls. The air grew damp, laced with metal and something else: fear. At the bottom, flickering emergency lights illuminated a row of cages. Human cages, 4 missing scientists. Bruised, disoriented, alive. Dr. Hallstrom, their lead xenobiologist, looked up at Elias with sunken eyes. "You shouldn't have come," he whispered. Elias tore open the cage lock using an emergency plasma cutter. "We're taking you home." "No." Hallstrom grabbed his arm, desperate. "Leaving wakes them. They track adrenaline spikes. They hunt instinct." A thunderous mechanical roar vibrated up the chute. The chamber around them pulsed red. Lockdown initiated. Mara's voice crackled over comms. "Elias, movement." "Lots of movement." He scanned the far wall, alien script flaring to life. "The hunt begins." A pair of red eyes ignited in the shadows, then another, then dozens. Figures emerged, tall, sinewy creatures with armor fused into their flesh, joints elongated, jaws split to expose teeth shaped like obsidian shards. They carried weapons made of bone and metal, trophies of every hunt before them. The lead hunter stepped forward. He towered over Elias, muscle merged with black armor plating grown directly from skin. A ceremonial spear rested casually against his shoulder. His voice was deep, resonant, and confident. "You walk upright. You speak. You build." He leaned down until his predatory eyes met Elias's visor. "But can you run?" Elias lifted his rifle. The alien tilted his head, curious rather than threatened. "We have ended gods and empires. Your species will be no different." Elias didn't blink. "You're about to learn something new about humans." The alien smiled with too many teeth. "We adapt?" "No!" Elias fired point blank into the alien's knee, igniting the chamber into chaos. "We fight." The hunters surged forward. A violent shockwave detonated from above. The chute sealed. A dart whistled through the air and buried itself into Elias's neck. His vision blurred. Legs collapsed. The floor pitched sideways. Mara screamed through comms. "Elias, tracker dart!" "Stay." Everything went black. Voices echoed through the darkness, alien, triumphant. "He will make worthy prey. Prepare the release. Grounds. Begin the hunt." The last thing Elias heard before consciousness slipped away was a cold mechanical voice. "Hunt protocol activated. Species. Human objective. Terminal acquisition." And then nothing. Cold air slapped Elias awake. He didn't remember falling. Only darkness. Now he lay on damp soil beneath a slate-colored sky. Fog clung to a jagged landscape of colossal trees, towering growths that looked like petrified muscle fiber twisted into spires. The ground pulsed with bioluminescent veins, faint blue light illuminating strange roots snaking out like nerves. His head throbbed. He pushed himself upright, fingertips brushing a metal disc implanted beneath his skin, just below the ear. Along the spine, a tracker. He breathed slow, steadying himself, cataloging his surroundings the way Marines were trained. Forest, unknown terrain, quiet except for distant drips of condensation. "No team in sight. Status check." He called through the suit's comm. Static. His suit flashed a single notification. Transmission jammed. Isolation active. Elias clenched his jaw. He expected pain. He didn't expect the feeling of being alone. A voice crackled from above, amplified, metallic, echoing through the canopy. "You awaken quickly. Many prey do not." Elias rotated slowly, scanning treetops. A hulking Vrax crouched on a vine-covered branch. It was the same hunter from the chamber, obsidian armor meshed seamlessly with living sinew. "Why separate us?" Elias asked. "To measure your worth," the hunter replied. "Prey in groups lean on the strongest. Alone, we see what remains. And when you're done measuring," the alien bared his teeth in a slow grin, Your skull joins our gallery. He vanished into the canopy, Elias whispered to himself. Not today. He checked his gear. No rifle, no knife, just the exosuit. The tracker forced into his flesh and the environment around him. He scanned the terrain again, this time not as prey, but as a strategist. He spotted a fragment of burnt metal lodged against a root. He tugged it free. It was a shard from one of their dropship's containment cages. Sharp edge, jagged point, primitive but workable. Elias gripped it like a blade and started moving. Every step was deliberate, no wasted motion. The tracker hummed steadily under his skin, vibrating whenever he picked up speed. They're pinging adrenaline levels, Elias muttered. He slowed his breathing, reduced heart rate, made his body boring. He walked for nearly 15 minutes before he found someone. Mara. Her suit lay shredded from the thigh down, but she was alive. She crouched behind a fallen tree trunk holding a rock like a weapon. "Elias!" she whispered. "I thought they dragged you somewhere else." "They did," he replied. "Then they dropped me here like a bullet into a chamber." Mara swallowed. "We need to regroup and find the others." Elias nodded. "You armed?" She lifted the rock. "Technically," he cracked the smallest hint of a smile. "We'll fix that." A sudden shrill whir split the silence. Drone, a six-legged construct skittered through the brush, bones lashed to its chassis like jewelry. A skull ornament dangled from its undercarriage, vibrating as the machine sniffed the air with razor-thin probes. Mara froze. Elias placed a hand on her shoulder. Steady. Controlled. The drone turned toward their position. Probes twitched. It hissed, an artificial alarm building. No time. Elias gestured silently. Ambush. He crouched behind a root network while Mara prepared to throw her rock. As the drone approached, Elias waited until its front limb lifted, exposing the underside, and then launched forward. The shard of metal pierced its circuitry. The drone screamed. As sparks burst out and its skeletal frame collapsed, Mara blinked. "You stabbed a robot." Elias wiped the shard on his sleeve. Improvised tools are still tools. That's when they heard it, a thunderous horn, deep, violent, predatory. Hunt phase escalation. Mara grabbed Elias's arm. "What does that mean?" "Level 2, he answered. "Now they stop observing and start chasing." They moved quickly through the terrain, climbing a ridge. Wind knifed across their visors. The horizon revealed more than forest now, huge stone pillars connected by metal beams. On the far side, a massive Vrax airship hovered, like a floating temple adorned with bones of the conquered. "The hunt grounds. We're rats in a maze," Mara whispered. "No," Elias said. "We're prisoners in someone else's habitat. Difference is we think. We adapt." He found a long root thick as a cable and bent it, testing elasticity. The fibers resisted with muscular tension. Mara's eyebrows lifted. "What are you thinking?" "Injury trap," Elias said. "If we can't outrun them, we'll level the field." They spent minutes twisting the root into a tension line between two tree trunks, anchoring it at shin height. Elias sharpened two side branches with the metal shard and positioned them into the dirt, angled upward. Mara finally smiled. "Trip, fall, impale?" Elias tested the tension. "More like trip, rethink your life choices." He stepped back. "We need bait. I'll do it," Mara offered. Elias shook his head. "They're tracking me." "The dart is in my spine." He jogged into the clearing, purposefully raising adrenaline. The tracker warmed. It responded instantly. A shriek ripped through the air. The hunter dropped from above, landing on all fours like a panther descending on prey. "Run!" "Human!" the Vrax growled. Elias ran. His boots crushed bioluminescent moss, glowing in his wake. He angled toward the trap, heartbeat pounding. Just before the trip line, he dove sideways. The Vrax barreled through the clearing. The root snapped. Momentum slammed the hunter downward. The sharpened stakes pierced the alien's shoulder and thigh. Not fatal, but enough to take one leg out of the fight. The alien roared, thrashing wildly. Elias seized the fallen spear. The hunter stared up at him, teeth clenched. "You tricked me." "No," Elias replied. "I thought." The spear slammed into the hunter's chest. The body twitched once, then stilled. Mara exhaled. We just killed a Vrax. No, Elias corrected. We killed one Vrax, and now the rest will stop underestimating us. Static crackled in his ear, a new voice, deep, commanding. The High Huntsman. You adapt. Human, admirable, but prey-killing. A hunter does not make you predators, Elias. Lifted the comm piece from the fallen hunters. Armor and spoke directly into it. We don't need to be predators. And what are you then? Elias walked toward the camera embedded in a hovering drone, face calm, eyes steady. We're humans. He slammed his fist into the drone, shattering the lens. They found Jax an hour later. He was bruised, limping, but alive. His first words were not panic, but anger. They hunted us like animals. Elias shook his head. Animals run. We plan. Jax stared at him, something shifting in his expression, a spark igniting. Then what's the plan? Simple, Elias said. We stop surviving, Mara frowned. And start what? Elias looked back toward the massive hunting ship hovering in the distance, lights pulsing like the eyes of a predator that thought itself untouchable. We start hunting.